Hi friends, Zoey here. I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a hot minute since I've posted on my main channel, and that's because I've been vlogging my day-to-day life in Bali on my vlog channel, and I've just really kind of immersed myself into this move, into this relocation. So there you can find more content on the day-to-day aspect of things. But here on this channel, my main channel, is all about spirituality, self-improvement, healing, coaching, manifestation, all that good stuff to empower us to live our most beautiful, fulfilled lives and follow all of our dreams, because your dreams are possible. Take that as a sign right here. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a very special, a very mystical story, something profound that happened to me my first week here in Bali. So without further ado, let's get started. So of course, as I go down to film, the breeze starts up and is kind of swaying in the palm trees back there. So hopefully it's therapeutic and calming for you while you listen to this story time of the time, my first week in Bali, where I visited a traditional Balinese healer. Those of you who have seen Eat, Pray, Love, yes, similar to Katut Lier. So I want to start off this story, as I like to with my spiritual story times, is highlighting a few of the synchronicities that showed up to leading me to this experience, because I feel like some of our deepest healing moments, or like let's say ceremonies or encounters with plant medicine, all have these beautiful synchronous journeys that deserve to be highlighted a little bit before I get into this, just to remind you that any of those things that seem like coincidences in your path are not coincidences. Perhaps you being on this video right now, watching me in Bali, is no coincidence, right? They're all synchronicities that are leading us to better understanding ourselves and our path and our journey here on Earth. So, a couple of the synchronicities. As I have been manifesting this move to Bali, I set out a few different intentions about healing while I came here. I felt like I was drawn here, especially to Ubud, for a profound chapter of abundance, but really celebrating all of the healing that I have done and just continuing that journey of getting to know the self and releasing the things inside of me that no longer serve me, whether this be limiting beliefs, whether that be trauma that's stored in the body, all sorts of different things. I'm really ready and calling forth to release these things. I had intended to see a healer, and while I was in my quarantine, my friend Blair, who you guys have met on my vlog channel, had mentioned to me that his friend had gone to see a Balinese healer and had this profound experience. And this healer was not someone that you can find on, let's say, Facebook, Instagram, or anything like that. It's simply word of mouth. And the second that he mentioned that, I was like, yes, like let's go see this Balinese healer up in the north of Bali, because I was actually just about to express to Blair that I wanted to go see a healer, and if there was someone that he knew. So a synchronicity just like that, a beautiful coincidence of intending for a traditional healer and a synchronicity of finding the traditional healer. I believe that when it comes to seeking out healers, seeking out plant medicine, we should always follow the internal compass that is the heart space, right? Not from the head space. You can intend right from the head space, but you can also intend from the heart space, and just allow these things to flow to you, because when it's meant to be, it will all happen in the perfect time. Everything is happening at the perfect time. You are in the perfect place in this moment that you're watching this video right now. Because this healer is simply word of mouth, I asked Blair if we could set up a time to meet him, so he reached out to a couple people that he knew. And so within my first week in Bali, we went to Munduk, which is the north of Bali, and we went to go meet this healer. So this healer is a high priest here in Bali, and he was such a beautiful man. He had a really long ponytail, and he told us this epic story about how God had told him that he couldn't cut his hair, and if he did, then he would die. And he said that he tried to cut his hair a couple of times and was met with a near-death experience. Very, very powerful. We had a translator too, I should mention, the entire time. I don't, unfortunately, speak Balinese yet, and Mengku, the priest, the healer, He does not speak English, but it was beautiful having a translator present. And sometimes it feels like you don't even need a translator, because when you're around people's energy and it's so pure and so divine and so loving, it's like you can almost understand without words. And that's one thing that I really appreciate about traveling or living in other places, is that language is of course a beautiful gateway to understanding a culture, and I love to learn languages the best that I can. But there's something to be said about those moments when you meet people and you don't speak the same language of them, but you can understand, whether it be through sharing a smile or sharing a laugh or just sharing space and sharing energy. It's so powerful. So when we first got to Munduk, we hiked down into the jungle, down into like this ravine, which revealed a beautiful oasis. And this was where we would start our time with the healer, with a water blessing. So this is a traditional Balinese ceremony, and this space was so magical. I'm telling you, once I walked through the jungle and it opened up into these pools, and you could feel this beautiful energy. I did take some footage of that, so I'm going to share some footage now of the water blessing ceremony, so at least you can get a bit of an essence of it. And while I was cleansing myself, and while I was in these different pools, praying to the different gods for rebirth and transformation and creation, I could just feel, like energetically, I was feeling things being released. I was just feeling rejuvenation. It was just so magical. So magical. I don't even really have words for it. It was so profoundly beautiful. And after ceremony, we shared the offerings, which was fruit, and we ate these with the high priest and the translator, Blair and I, our driver, and we just celebrated a beautiful meal of fruit after the water blessing. And after that, we hiked back up to Guru Mengku's temple and home, and that was where we were to have individual healings. So Blair went first, and then it was my turn to go inside of the temple on my own. And so I sat there inside of his temple, the translator beside me, and Guru Mengku, he was facing like this wall that was a shrine. So his back was to me, his long cool ponytail was like facing me, and he started to pray. And I'm telling you, the energy when I was hearing these prayers that sounded like songs, I could just feel things lifting from me. I could feel things opening up, and I felt very trusting in this environment. It felt very safe. As he was opening up the space, he asked me what my intention was, and my intention was to release any resistance that I have to love in my life. As you guys know, something that I am always working on, right? And I think most of us can relate. We're always working on the ways in which we can feel even more worthy of receiving love and deepening that journey of self-love that we have inside. And because the more we love ourselves, the more we have the capacity to give others. So he starts praying. I could feel a lot of energy happening, and then all of a sudden Guru Mengku turns around. He starts saying a couple of things, and the translator translates for me. Mengku is saying that there is an evil spirit inside of you that is living in your stomach. Side note, I have done different types of fasts and cleanses in my life for spiritual reasons. And one of these spiritual reasons, which has always been the reason why I've come to the Master Cleanse, is because energetically I feel blockages in my stomach. And the stomach is related to the solar plexus chakra, which is directly related to self-worth, worthiness, okay? How you perceive yourself, self-confidence all comes from that space in the stomach. And anytime that I've approached a cleanse, it was always to clear an energetic blockage that I've received. I feel in my stomach, like a heaviness, not physically heavy, energetically heavy. So that was interesting as he first identified the stomach. There's an evil spirit that is living in your stomach. What he said was that he was going to clear this evil spirit for me. He took out a tiger tooth, right, like a tooth of a real tiger, and he started to press it in between my fingers, just like this. It really hurt. I'm yelping, and the translator said, just release it, just release it. He's going to release the spirit from you. So he would press the tiger tooth in between, and then he would also take his other hand and close my fingers. So I was getting stabbed, if you will, in the middle, for lack of a better term, and then squeezed in here. All of a sudden, I just started to cry. I was scream crying, if that's a term, as he was pressing this down in me, and I felt something, seriously like an entity, coming up from my stomach, being purged out of the top of my body. The translator said, you don't need to know who did this. It comes from a past relationship, someone wishing ill of you, creating black magic. You don't need to know who did it, but you need to know that it's released now. Because after he was doing this through my fingers, he also did it in between my toes until I stopped crying, until it stopped hurting. And what's wild is that in a matter of minutes, it went from being the most painful thing to have this tooth stabbed in between my fingers and my toes to all of a sudden it not hurting at all. I was like unfazed by it. And the feeling of something rising up in me and being released as I cried, as I screamed. Okay, it was like an exorcism. I don't know, I've never had an experience like that. I've had big energy purges on plant medicine, ayahuasca, sananga, but I've never experienced something like that without a tool that is, let's say, plant medicine. So this was a very mystical experience for me. We were in the mountains of Bali, already a very energetic place. I mean, Bali's an entire energetic place in itself, but it was just a lot in a very powerful, mystical way. I felt different, right? After I had cried, after I released this, I started to weep with joy and gratitude that this thing was gone inside of me. You know, I believe in magic, right? I believe that we are all magical beings and that we have the power to create. But I hadn't actually ever really prior to this thought about the opposite side of that, right? Black magic. People, let's say, casting spells on you, or the evil eye, like not wishing you well. And I always thought, you know, I'm so powerful, I can just create forward momentum in my life. Nobody can really affect me. But this showed me something different. It showed me that we're even all the more connected than we even realize. We are all one, okay? And when one of us heals, we all heal, yes. But it also, the opposite of that is that I do believe that because we are such powerful beings, that if somebody wishes, let's say, negative on you, or the concept of the evil eye, and I know that's a superstition, but it's quite alive in Eastern Europe. I kind of believe that because we are so powerful, that if somebody is consistently wishing negativity or harm on you, that's a focused energy, right? That's a focused energy that is coming at you. And I'm not saying that to freak any of you out by any means. I mean, it kind of made me feel a bit weird, but I just feel like I want to bring it to your attention, is to protect your energy. Those people that you are around that don't feel very good to you, let them go, okay? Because your energy is powerful and you don't need anyone connecting any cords or any unwanted vibes to you, really, because I do believe that we are each powerful, right, in our own ways. And if you can be powerful in the force of love, that's the ultimate. But I do think there's something to be said about the opposite. Be careful, protect your energy. I wept with joy and happiness that this thing was released from me, because I felt that something huge had happened. And then what happened is the guru had me drink holy water, like splash holy water on me, and then there was also like holy oil put on me. He opened up my hands and he wrote with this pencil in Sanskrit, like messages of healing and protection, and closed my hands, blessed them. And he said that even after the pencil washes away from my hands, the blessings are now inside of me. It was really beautiful. Okay, it was really beautiful to be in the presence of a healer who didn't speak English, but was still just so unconditionally giving and loving to me, helping me overcome this. And then afterwards, we were sitting there and we were eating fruit together. He wanted to show us something, so he went and got a powerful stone, and we took turns holding it into our hand, and the stone was heating up really powerfully. And this was like some things that any of you who have ever read the book Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda's Journey, so powerful, right? You read these stories, these accounts of people manifesting things out of thin air and people exercising magic, like I said, without plant medicine and things. They are just simply so connected with that inner power that they can materialize objects and things can happen. And so we were passing around the stone was really hot. Guru Menku took out this old Balinese money. It was like placed in a book, so it was like super flat, and he would place it in his hand, and then all of a sudden we watched as like the money started to curl in his hand. So wild. Then we each tried, and the money maybe had some movement to it, but when it was in the Guru's hands, it was just curling up. I'm telling you, it was magic. Like the entire setting, the entire experience, everything felt like magic. He gave me some holy oil to take home, and he said if I start to feel like not very good, just drink a couple drops of that in coconut water with some lime and you'll feel better, or put the holy oil on you. There was a couple instances where I put the holy oil on me because I just was working through some emotions, but overall I felt completely different from when I arrived in Bali or arrived to this healer or went up to Munduk to when I left. I literally feel like I left, transformed this heavy energy inside of me, released it, if you will, let this evil spirit out. I don't know what it was. I don't know who it was, let's say, that created the energy block within me, but it was one of those things where it didn't actually feel like it was mine, but it did feel like it was blocking me in some ways. And as some backstory to this, I have not had a boyfriend. Okay, I've had different relationships, or I've seen people in the past like 6 years, but I've not actually had a boyfriend in 6 years. So that's quite interesting to know that this came from a past relationship, and it sort of has blocked me in that space for some time. And I mean, as much as I can say that blocked me in some ways, I know that I, of course, create my own blocks and am working through them in different ways. But I just thought it was very, very interesting. And so I really wanted to share that story with you guys, to, of course, document it on my channel. I love to document my journey and remember these different things that I've done, and just share with you alternative forms of healing, right? Follow your curiosities, follow those inklings inside of you. If there's a healer that you want to see, a type of experience that you desire to have, like a mystical experience, let's say, just intend for it and allow for the path to unfold. Because this was beautiful, such a profound experience to have my first week in Bali. And something Blair said when we were on our way back is, you know, I kind of just feel like this experience was really for you. He got healing out of it. He got a water blessing, but he said, I feel like I was here to bring this together. It was profound, and I'm so grateful to have shared it with such an amazing friend. It was so special. It's something that I'll always remember, especially when I think about this chapter in Bali and how it began. It began mystical, and it continues to unravel in the most mystical and profound ways. I can't wait to share more with you guys. If you're interested in me sharing the day-to-day life stuff in Bali, I am vlogging on a weekly basis on my vlog channel, which will be linked down below. But I guess with that, I'll leave you off to have an amazing, beautiful day. Let me know what you think about this experience, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!